Hi, this is Evan, and I'm your host of Wine Couch TV. As we do most weeks, we'll be tasting two wines, talk about the foods that go with them, and talk a little bit about the grapes and the region from which they're from. We're going to do something a little bit different this week, and we're going to actually focus on a region and the wines that come with them, two different ones, rather than a single grape type. Today's region, this week's region, is Piedmont. Now, Piedmont, along with Tuscany, are the two most famous regions in Italy for all Italian wines. Piedmont is located north, if you will, and towards the east, and is really centered around Milan, which is what most people know. It's a great wine region and is the home, of course, of the fabulous long-lived wines of Barolo and Barbaresco, world-class red wines made from the Nebbiolo grape that take decades to age beautifully and have vertigo-inducing prices these days between high demand, high quality, and a dollar that's not necessarily doing as well as it was before. So for that reason, we're going to focus in on some of the important, more value-driven wines that frankly are what we and the Piemontese drink on a day-to-day basis. So let's see what we had this week. Our first wine is a wine called Dolcetto. Now, Dolcetto, which means little sweet one in Italian, comes from several different regions. This particular 2005 bottling comes from the region of Alba, hence Dolcetto di Alba, from the fabulous sort of edgy producer Roberto Voerzio. Voerzio, along with a couple of other producers in Piedmont, are known for being sort of the maverick new young Turks of this area who are essentially driving the less traditional approach towards winemaking today. And his Dolcetto is generally an outstanding wine, again in a premium price point, which is where many of these wines are going to be today, simply because of high demand and a relatively low dollar. So let's taste it. Dolcetto, right off the bat, as you can see, is known for having a very deep, rich color, sort of very almost fluorescent at times, but very purpley with almost a blue sort of edge. The charm of Dolcetto, however, is in the nose. Dolcetto explodes with sort of a grapey, almost Hawaiian punch-like character to it, sort of Gamay-like if you like Beaujolais, but with a clearly Italian edge to it. A little bit leathery, a little bit truffly, but again, just oozing with grapey, berry, punch-like fruit, and a lot of explosiveness. Not a lot of fruit, not a lot of earth, I should say, and very rarely do you ever see wood. Let's taste it. This wine has a very round texture, mouth-filling, soft, with tannins that just pull at the sides of your cheeks without gripping a lot. It has a bright acid, but not overbearing, and an overall softness that's going to make it incredibly, incredibly diverse with foods when we get to that point. Dolcetto is what everybody in Piedmont drinks. It's sort of the nice everyday drink, and it's a nice wine to have when you're waiting for your Nebbiolos, Barolos, Barbarescos to age for that long haul. The second wine we're going to try is made from a different grape. This grape is called Barbera. It's also from Alba in this particular case, hence Barbera di Alba, but you may at times see Asti, Dolcetto di Asti or Barbera di Asti on labels. Again, same grape, slightly different region, always in the overall appellation of Piedmont. This is also from the 2005 vintage and from a more traditional producer in Pio Cesare. So we've gone from sort of the more modern approach to a more traditional approach, and for a grape, Barbera, that quietly is the most planted grape in all of Piedmont. So although its reputation may be in Nebbiolo and a lot of people enjoy drinking great Dolcetto, Barbera is the engine that makes the Piemontese wine industry move on a day-to-day basis. Let's taste this wine. For me, Barbera has the same sort of charm of fruit that Dolcetto has, but with a little bit more edge. Rather than being grapey, berryish, and punch-like, here we're talking more defined cherry, somewhere between ripe red cherry and sour cherry. You have a little bit of black fruit, you have a little bit of a licoricey, spicy character, and what's always obvious to me, because the wine usually makes me salivate, is it's going to be underscored by a very bright, sharp acid character in the mouth. Let's go ahead and taste the wine. Like Dolcetto, Barbera is a style of wine that's made for early consumption. A good Dolcetto should probably be consumed somewhere between a year, 2 years, maybe 3 max from the time of its release in market. Barbera, maybe 5. But it's pronounced with bright, sharp acidity. It has a little bit of tannin, a little bit more grip than a Dolcetto does, but nice moderate body, and again, just sort of this racy nerve that goes through the back end of it. Barbera and Dolcetto both are extremely food friendly. Let's talk about Dolcetto first. Dolcetto's general grapiness and fruit forwardness and richness in body means that it's actually going to pair well with a lot of fish. So if you want something to go with trout, fillet of sole, simpler white-fleshed fish like snapper and halibut, Dolcetto will really, really be nice. The other thing is if dishes have sort of a nice kind of sweet edge to them or succulence to them, Dolcetto will pair well. So if you're having, say, a pork loin with an apricot chutney, you're having a little bit of, fast food, buffalo wings, something like that, Dolcetto is going to be a great way to go. Barbera, on the other hand, you always have to take that acidity into consideration. The traditional plating that you have with Barbera in Piedmont is a large plate of salumi. So whether you're having salami, mortadella, sopressata, or any of those sausages, a little bit of cheese, and a bottle of Barbera, that's a very traditional match. Barbera's high acid also means that it's going to penetrate through richer sauces like bologneses and things like that. It probably doesn't go as well with fish, but it can pair well with a lot of cheeses too. Both of them are very friendly wines and lighter in style, so you can enjoy them both as sort of hors d'oeuvre aperitif wines and then move into something more hefty as you go into your meal, or simply continue it along your way. Okay, wine word of the week. This week our word is Bric or Bricco, depending on who's using it. And this is a term that refers to a vineyard site on a southern-facing slope in Piedmont, usually reserved to speak specifically about Barolo and Barbaresco, and usually refers to the most elevated part of the plain. Since they don't have a regular cru system like you would find, say, in Burgundy or Alsace in France, this is their way of using it and distinguishing individual specific vineyard sites that have reputation. So again, a little bit confusing, a little bit geeky, but next time you see a Barolo label or a Barbaresco label and it carries a heftier price tag, but it has that word on it, you'll know why. Again, a very specific vineyard site. Anyway, we're out of time. A lot to talk about, not much time to do it in. We'll see you next time. You stay well and take care.